Boys, we are here today to make your game idea. I posted a short. This is going to be important. I posted a short. Let me see if I can pull it up. And there's a secret message. And only one person found it, which means that their idea is getting it by default. So let me show you 1 second what I'm talking about, because this is going to be an exciting stream. I think this is going to be a blast. It's going to be a crazy whirlwind of dev as quickly as humanly possible. But basically, here's the short in question, and I need to share my screen. Hello. This is what we're talking about. I'm intentionally going to talk really slowly so that the only kind of person who responds to this video is the kind of person who can think for themselves and isn't completely brain rotted and appreciates the content that I make. So here's the deal. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, but I would like to revisit a format that I did about a year ago, where I essentially turned your video game ideas into actual game prototypes and showcase them on my channel. So what I want you to do is comment below right now on this little short, what's a game that you wish existed? Keep it simple, don't go crazy, and may the best idea win. Okay, one comment, one singular comment by my biggest fan, Roy. He says, what about a game where you have to cook meals, but you get more points for making it less edible or more dangerous to eat? What about a game where you have to cook meals, but you get more points for making it less edible or more dangerous to eat? What an interesting idea from Roy. And to be honest, when I first saw that, I was like, so basically you're just talking about like Overcooked, except it's going to be like 30 times more chaotic. And honestly, not that fun if you think about it, because the whole point of Overcooked, what makes Overcooked fun, at least in my opinion, is that it's like, it's not hard. The challenge is not how to mess up a meal. The challenge is to make the meal work. It's very easy to mess up a meal. And so making a whole game loop around doing the opposite thing, I was like, how do we make that interesting? Like, it's very easy to ruin a meal. It's hard to put it together correctly within a short time frame. And so I started thinking for a little while, and then I came up with an idea that I think is gonna work really well for this challenge. So basically, here's the story, right? Imagine you are like a soldier in an enemy camp, and you're sneaking around, so it's like a stealth game. And you're sneaking around the camp, and you're looking for something or basically, you're looking around the camp for ways to sabotage the enemy, and you go into the kitchen and you like swap out ingredients and ruin the enemy's recipes so that their soldiers are eating bad food. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, to make it an interesting challenge, we're going to make it a stealth game where you swap out stuff instead of just like a generic, cooking game, but you ruin it. Does that make sense? So that's my idea. And I'm not 100% sure what the like art style and the theme is going to be. I have a couple of ideas. Caitlin gave me a couple ideas last night that I think are probably pretty absurd. But I think the best thing we could do is start by just getting some basic mechanics in place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a new Unity project and all that. Let me close this so it's not a mess. Close this. Close this. We're going to make a new Unity project. Oh, you like my desktop, by the way? You like that wallpaper? I think it's fire. New project. And what are we going to call this project? Now, I'm thinking this is going to be a 3D game. We're going to make it Universal 3D is probably fine. I think that's okay. We're going to make it a 3D project, and it'll be like a sort of top-down view. Maybe you use WASD, maybe it's even like a point and click. I'm not sure. But in any case, that's what I'm picturing. It's like a top-down 3D thing. Mostly just because that's what Overcooked looks like. Don't judge me. We're gonna call this... What's something creative? Cook. Synonym. Okay. Knock up. Knock up is a synonym for cook? I don't know about this one, yo. Okay. Prepare. We could call it like... What if we called it like uncook or something? Anti-cook. You know what I mean? Baker, bacon. How do you say cooking in a fancy way? Cuisine. Concoct. Prepare. Sure. Good times, man. Good times. Gourmet. Wait, gourmet could help, actually. I think I'm just gonna call it... I'm just gonna call it anti-cook for now. And if we think of something better later, then so be it. Now, I've got a couple of different inspirations, right? First of all, obviously, we have to go to the greatest cooking game ever made, or at least the most popular. I don't know if it's the best. No internet, GG.
Oh my god, there's so much to keep track of. Okay, that's...
So there's always this.
Right.
There's always this, right? This is kind of the camera that I want, more or less. I'm thinking of using a similar like top-down perspective, except instead of it being about cooperation to make the best meal, it's going to be a stealth game where you sabotage the cooks. Does that make sense? I think I want to reuse some of the idea as well of like the counters. I'm gonna steal, I mean borrow, the concept of like different cooking stations and the cooks like traveling between different spots. Then the other thing that came to mind as I was brainstorming this is inside. I think it was inside. That has like the big back and forth lights. Am I thinking of the right game? I guess not. What's that called? Oh, no, it's not Limbo. What game am I thinking of? Wait, pause. I need to find it. So it's sorted by... Oh, alphabetical. Where is it, bro? It's not Limbo, but it's like the other like really dark, gritty looking. Yeah, it is Inside. It totally is Inside. Inside. There's like one level, full game, that's crazy, that keeps coming to mind. I think it's like these. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of. Is the big like spotlights. I'm imagining like, what if we have like the kitchen, but then there's spotlights that you have to hide from it to get to different parts of the kitchen. Those were sort of my two potentially extremely scuffed ideas. Let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens, man. It looks like we've got this set up. So that's good. What does every great game start with? It starts with a plane, and a bean. It's just how it goes, man. It's how it goes, player. Ground. Throw that on there, throw that on there. We'll make the ground like a sort of not very colorful. And then we'll make you like a nice blue. Okay, now let's get the player doing shit. I don't know why this is at a weird spot to start, but we'll go there. We'll call this player. And then we'll just throw some cubes in here so that I can actually see if it's moving. Oops, not sphere. 5.5. This can scale this way, I think. And that's already theoretically enough to get this working. Now, I probably want, like I said, like that overcooked sort of overhead slightly off to the side look. Something like that. Let's go ahead and make a couple scripts now. Well, first I need to import a couple more things. So let's get that done. Package manager. Obviously, I need hot reload. It's kind of important. A need to have. And then I will also grab a custom post-processing profile that I set up. Oh, which means I need to import post-processing. Where is that, by the way? OneDrive. Is it in here? Did I throw it in here with my packages? Probably. Yeah, right here. This guy, I want that. But that means I need to import, oh, it might not work with Universal, though. That would suck. It wouldn't surprise me, but it would suck. Going to Unity registry? No? Why? Wait, why? Is it built in now? Maybe it is. Install this, though. What is happening? Whoa, 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 whoa. Invalid. What's going on, dude? I've never seen that in my life. That's really strange to me. Cancel? What is this? Hang on. Do I have it now? Yeah. I don't know what just happened. Okay, let's just see if it works. Oh, that's not where I want to import it. Give me it here. Yeah. And now I'm immediately getting errors, so that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go. Do this. Global. Drag you in. Transparent effects. Transparent effects. That didn't do anything. Not great. It might be because this is only for the other render pipeline. I don't know that for a fact, but that's my theory, sorta. Really strange, isn't it? I think that's super strange. Just dealing with all the random bullshit at the beginning. It's also trying to force me into the new input system, which I really would prefer to not use. I just don't like it, personally. Global volume. Oh, fascinating. Okay. Yeah, so that broke that for sure. Remove component. What? What? Oh. Oh, I see. Misclick. Yeah, I think we can't use this, which is kind of a shame. It added us a global volume, which has its own thing, essentially. Let me see if I can do anything with this. Can I add a... Oh, cool. Okay, that worked. Well, so be it then. I'll just do this manually. Let's go to color adjustments. Saturation, turn that up a little. Probably don't want any grain in this one. See how much that's doing. I can't even see the difference. What? Oh wow, it's really subtle. Okay, interesting. Bloom's not gonna come up on anything yet. Turn that up a little bit. What else do I want on here? Probably not that. No. Lens distortion, no. Do we want to just leave it as is for now? Yeah, maybe I'll just come back to this kind of exposure. That's interesting. Okay, I don't know. Oh, that doesn't actually disable it, does it? How very strange. Whatever, man. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's get some scripts written. You know what I mean? And let's organize this. So materials. Scripts. Call it player move. Camera follow. Actually, this might be a good use case for Cinemachine. So I may or may not write that. But I'll throw this in here. And then we need to open it up. Oh, give me a new page. We're not working on snarfles right now. Open project. Did it save this into version? Probably, right? Yeah. Anti-cook, assets, scripts. Beautiful. Player move. Okay. It all comes down to this, right? Written things like this about 100 million times by this point. Public float speed. I don't need a jump at all, actually. Straight up, don't need that. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna have the player like rotate to face the direction, but since it's a capsule, it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, grab that, and truthfully speaking, that might already be enough to make it move. Thank you for the assist on that one. Did that automatically compile? No. You have to reload manually. I don't know why. It is what it is. Drag that on there. Okay, it removed it from the inspector. Drag that on there. Should be all that I need to move the player. Except GG, I didn't put a rigid body on it. I'm an idiot. Why? Stop. Okay, I'm gonna lock the inspector. Don't use gravity and freeze all the rotations. I might say freeze both. I'm not sure. Oh. Well, that doesn't help. Wait, where is that now? Player? Switch to the old system. I have to restart for that? That's really stupid. Okay. Well, so be it. Hopping back in. Hopping back in, you know what I mean? We're doing transform translate. I forget if that is going to interfere awkwardly with physics. If so, then we can always switch to just applying the rigid body velocity. But I think it should be okay. What? This project is using new input system package, but the native platform backends for the new input system are not enabled. This means no input from native device will come through. Do you want to enable the backends? Doing so, restart. No, I don't. In fact, all I want to do, thank you very much, is actually go to here and just delete this completely from my project. Get it out of here. I don't want to deal with it, man. Can I move the player now, please? Thank you. How does physics work? Well, it's a start, man. Yeah, and if I do this, then it sort of bounces awkwardly. And we've probably got a normalization problem. Yep. All the things. I've done this a few million times, so I know what's going on. Movement, this needs to be normalized. We're gonna say rigid body RB, grab that, move position. Is that all that it takes? Why is hot reload not working? Reload finished. I don't believe you. Oh, I know why it's not working. Because we're recompiling on scene load. I need to change that in the settings. That's an easy fix. Hey, beautiful. We just fixed both the problems instantly. I'm kind of good at this, yo. Okay, and it says that we have 300 frames per second, yet we're somehow stuttering. So that's really cool. But I think that's just because we're in here. Editor. Do not reload anything. Bang! Love it. Okay, now let's get the camera to follow, and for that I'm going to try, and this might be a bad idea, but instead of writing a custom solution, I'm going to try to use Cinemachine. Unity registry. This guy right here, install. And we'll see how it goes. What the fuck is going on? If there's a problem, then don't Dude. Dude. If there's a problem with it, don't install it. What are you doing? Can I just refresh everything? Because I'm downloading this directly through Unity. I don't understand why it's complaining, to be honest. I really don't. Invalid signature. That's so strange. It seems fine. Not gonna lie, it honestly looks completely fine. But I don't know. From what I remember, I need to create a separate, like, Cinemachine thing. And then this needs, is that all I need from this? Cinemachine camera, targeted cameras, follow camera, probably. Yeah, I probably need a follow camera. And then I don't know if I put this on or if I put the brain on here. Yeah, I think I just put the brain right here. Maybe. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, it's coming back. So then I just have to put a target, which we give player. That already broke or fixed all of the errors, and now we're following. So from here, I should be able to. Okay, we do want it on 0, 0, but we want the follow offset to be like up here somewhere. Maybe not quite so far behind as well. Looks close to what I want. Let's compare that real quick to the view that we get here. Yeah, close enough. So now we're following. We get a crazy amount of rotation. I don't like that. And we're getting stuttering because we're applying physics into different parts of the timing cycle. Okay, that's fine. One thing at a time. Our rotation composer is too slow. I don't want it to be a hard look ahead, no. Target offset, no. Screen position, no. Damping, probably. Well, I could look it up or I could just test it. So if I go to 1 by 1, okay. If I go to 0 by 0, genuinely I see no difference. If I go to 100, there's the difference. Okay, that looks nice. So now we're gonna just find a number that I like. Call it 20. Because I want it to rotate like ever so slightly, but basically be on point. 10. Truthfully, I wonder if what I actually want is for... Whoa. Wasn't that interesting? Okay. Okay. We'll call this 0.5, maybe. Ah, I see. I see now. That feels like extremely, like, way too precise. I almost wonder if what I want to do is, like, make this thing really slow to catch up, and then make this thing slightly? Whoops. Just gonna keep tweaking settings until I find something I like, you know? Yeah, like if I did that, but then if I made this like way slower to react. No, that sucks. We'll just call them both 0.5 and consider that at the end of the day, I think. I still don't like it. These things need to be right. These things need to be right. You know what I'd really like is if there was like a tiny bit of... I almost wonder if I want like dead space or something. Probably not. This is good enough. This is good enough. I like that. I'm happy with that. Okay. Oh. Okay. Next problem is the what appears to be stuttering due to this one probably moving on fixed update and the other one moving on update. That's my best guess on what's happening. So, I mean, I could probably just do that and then get rid of this, but that'll change the scaling drastically. Let's see. Sure enough, it looks much smoother. I think, no, it's still stuttering. Whoa, interesting. Now it's not. Wait, now it's not. Now it looks great. Suspicious, isn't it? How does this feel? Oh my, it's so stuttery. And now it's not. Now it's fine. Now it looks great. I'm gonna leave it for now. Okay. More or less, controls are good. Basic movement is done. Let me make this higher so that it's a little bit more obvious. Let's see how that looks. I think it looks pretty damn good. so strange how it like pops into view after being weird. Okay, next thing I want to do is build the stealth thing, actually. I think that's probably our best bet to do next. So let's make a spotlight. I can't say I've ever made something quite like this before. I'm excited about it though. Intensity needs to be way up. I still can't. There it is. There we go. Yeah, we'll call it 100 and see how that looks real quick. If I rotate it back and forth, oh, not on that axis. If I rotate, not on that axis. What? Reasonable. Honestly, could be better. I'm getting some crazy gimbal locks, huh? It feels like it's trying to hit a spot that's way farther than it actually is, which is kind of problematic. So we'll lower the... No, we won't? I'm not sure. Okay, we just did 20 instead of 200, and then... Or 20 instead of 100, and then... What else did I do? Oh, I moved this to... Well, I don't actually like that. I actually massively prefer this. But we'll call this 0, 5, 10. And we will attempt... I don't know why that's being so strange. If I rotate it 90 degrees on here and then rotate it on the X, are you happy? Yeah, it's happy with that. Now this will look way cooler if we massively darken the scene. Of course. Shape. Oh, here we go. So theoretically, right, that would end up meaning you lose eventually. I'm gonna have a very, very tight range on this, so it's just enough to look visually interesting, but not unclear, right? I want it to be as clear as possible. Okay, anything more than it wants is good. So then I can just do this, pretty much. Though I have to say, it would work a lot better if we make it way higher and then increase the range a ton. No? Oh, that's a problem. That's a very big problem. This now needs to be like 1 and 3 or something. Or 2 and 3. 1 and 1. This still doesn't work? What? Why? Wait, Loki? Okay, that's way too big, but that's not. Surely. Oh wow, it actually is just this. That's the problem. Okay. Yeah, that works so much better. Oh man, that looks good. Okay, I love that. Let's copy it. Copy paste that real quick, and now we're gonna just make a cute little. Oh, I can delete this now. But yeah, now I should be able to just make a spotlight. Kill. You know? Here's what's gonna happen on here. First of all, rotate back and forth on the x-axis by a range and speed. By an angular range and speed specified in the inspector. Basically sweep back and forth only on the X rotation forever. Let's see what you did. Sweep range. That's way too wide by default. Sign. Oh, I like that. That's clever. A little bit of trig. I think that'll help in this situation quite a bit. Don't need any of that. See how it looks. That was pretty damn easy. So then I have something to dodge. And the question just becomes now, okay, good work, but how do we kill him when we get there? Because technically the radius changes ever so slightly, but to be honest, it's so slight that I might just not care. I might just say that I do not care. And would we do maybe a sphere cast directly down? Locally down? Sphere cast down locally, I think. Yeah. I mean, what would it look like to make a capsule? With a height of like something massive. A radius roughly equal. Actually, that's fine. We'll make it a little bit smaller than the radius of the actual thing to give some grace, of course. Why is it? Hang on. Let me look at the bounds here, because... Oh no, that looks great. Yeah, we'll call it something like that, and then we'll make it a trigger, obviously. Now we can just say void on trigger enter. If it's player, hit by spotlight. Sure. Start there. But obviously I want to do a little more than that. But let's test it. It would help if I actually made this there. Player hit by spotlight. Beautiful. Let's make this sane. Okay. Oh, man. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say return. So that means that it'll essentially lock onto it, which will be really cool. It found me there. So that's a little bit too much still. Forgot about the fact that it would essentially be the edge, which is not very cool. Let's see. That's still a little much. 1.5? Let's go 1.5. I'm surprised. I thought I was already being generous, but this needs to feel good. There we go. That looks very fair. That's a good spot for it to detect, I think. Okay. Okay, so with that in place then, how do we want the player to die? I'd say invoke. Maybe we want like a scene manager or a game manager or something. So I'll do that. Game manager is gonna have on it like a function. It's gonna use scene management. It's gonna have a public void restart. That's gonna do that essentially, but I think I want to do it a little bit more complicated than that, because we're gonna give it a reference. Game over panel. Yeah, we could give it the player as well. Public void die. I don't need the player. How do I want to do this? Temporarily, we're gonna say player.set active false, and then we're gonna say invoke repeating, or like fade in equals true. You know, the other thing I could do that might make this easier, potentially, is this might be a good time. This might be a really good time. For now, okay, temporarily, we're gonna say this line is just gonna get called right here, and then we'll polish it up in a bit. We'll make it look much prettier. I have some ideas on how to do that using a really cool asset that I've invested in recently called More Mountains Feedback, something like that. Hello. That's not it. Maybe I'll just search by purchase date and see what comes up. Oh, good progress so far. Really good. Pretty happy with that, actually. There we go. Okay, so it's... Wow, I've Loki gotten a lot of things since then. That's crazy. Not this, 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 not this. No. No, 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 no. There's no way it's this far. Feel. There it is. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Download that. Okay. Import that, please. Even though I don't necessarily need it just yet. But it's going to come into serious handy in a second here. But I'll leave it as is right now of like no real feedback at all. It's just going to instantly restart the level. I'll test that works, and then we'll move on from there to starting to build some of the kitchen out, because that's essentially all that we need for a lose condition and player movement, which is a pretty good start. Also, I thought it was going to take longer than it did to make the spotlight look reasonable, but that already looks pretty solid, actually. So I'm pretty happy about that. As far as, I think the most tricky thing to get right, and we can make this as, like, I can overcomplicate it easily, or I can do something smart and simple, is the cook, like, NPC behavior. Because I'm imagining them sort of like going back and forth between specific checkpoints and combining ingredients in a very consistent way. But they need to be able to pick up items that you swap out so that you can mess with them. They need to not get stuck moving into each other or anything like that. So yeah, it'll be it'll be interesting. I'm trying to decide too if I want them to be able to see you, like the cooks in the kitchen to be able to see you and like chase you down or something, or if that's like too much. We could always add that later, but I don't think that that's like a necessary thing to put into the game. Already though, let me do a quick compile. No, we're already up to date. That should be enough to get a restart. Sure enough, beautiful. So yeah, no feedback yet, nothing pretty, but hey, that is a good start. The next thing I want to do from here is I want to start building the kitchen. Let's see here. How do I want to do this, man? So, like, obviously, we're going to need to have an enemy. But I don't necessarily know if these are enemies in the traditional sense. They may just be kind of there, right? They're really just cooks. Potentially, they might not be able to do much of anything. But this guy's chilling here. And his job is essentially going to be to go pick up I think in an ideal world, all that he will do is like pick up something, place it onto a station that does something specific, and then move it somewhere else. That's about it. That's really all that I need him to do. So right away, we're gonna need to make a nav mesh, of course. So let's get that out of the way. Maybe this guy will like, you know, there will be a specific station from like here to here or something. In fact, let's build a station. We're probably gonna need to like make up a recipe right now. I want these to look just slightly different. Maybe they'll be like 1.1 or so. Okay. Would it be 505? No. It'd be 6? No. 55? There we go. Yeah, and so this can be like a station. We'll give that its own thing. Right. Technically, this all needs to be on a perfect grid, huh? Well, not necessarily. All I'm going to do to start, mark all this as static and the ground. Let's go ahead and try baking a nav mesh. How does that work these days? Oh, that's so cool that you can set that up. How do I bake it? I actually don't know. Oh, maybe you need a separate component. Surface? Yeah, that's exactly what I need. Awesome. Mission accomplished. There's my nav mesh. This shouldn't be static. And it's not. So what did we run into here? That's funny. We did run into the player. That doesn't make a lot of sense. We'll make this an obstacle. The carbs? But I don't want it to leave a hole in the nav mesh by default. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? There we go. Okay, that looks right. That looks right. Cool. Theoretically, say that I have like 2 stations, right? We'll put one over here. I'll bake one more time. And so that should be all that we need. All I wanna do, I think, is like, okay, we're gonna grab like a sphere to represent a piece of food. It's gonna go on top of here. We'll make it like blue or something. Green. We'll make it green. Okay, and that piece is like gonna be on this station, and this guy's gonna come over, pick it up, and bring it over here. I'm imagining like an assembly line that essentially works infinitely. But if you swap anything out, it's going to cause complete chaos. So let's go ahead and make an agent thing. Baker AI. Okay, we're gonna need a baker that moves back and forth. To start, all I'm gonna say is, yeah, agent, and then like public transform station 1, station 2. And so we're basically just gonna say yeah, that's probably fine. Int current station. Agent, yeah. Let's see if that works. This is one of those cases where AI is genuinely so useful, man. Okay, now we give this guy station and station 1. And we watch as he patrols between the two perfectly, flawlessly, without hiccups. Oh, there's no way that worked on the first try. There's no way that worked on the first try. That is awesome. I don't know why he's going around instead of just going right between the two, but it worked. That is beautiful. Good start, man. Good start. I can like push this guy. Can push him, but I can't like fully root. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a bummer. We ran into a problem. His velocity is carrying on me for eternity. I think I can just fix that with damping, right? Probably. Any amount should help. Let's see. Yeah, problem solved. Cool. Okay, now he needs to be able to like pick up objects, wait at each station, and do something else with them. Oh. There's so much to do. There is so much to do, and there's a couple different ways we could do it. I'm gonna need code for the stations, which should like basically let the agent just call like interact with whatever the station does, and then that should like spit something out. It should have an animation and then turn the thing on the thing to a different thing. Then it needs to be able to carry the object. Over. What do we want to do first? I'm gonna write a station thing. Station. Public. For now, literally all this is gonna do is say public game object item. That's literally it. It's just gonna have an item that's currently on it. So that way we can keep track of it. Okay? Is occupied is not useful. Thanks for trying, but no, I don't need that. So station will currently have the sphere on it. Station 1 won't have anything. But it'll have one of these on it. And then this guy needs to actually, realistically, these should be like that. And then we should be able to say that. And then we're going to probably have another script for like carrying things. You know what I mean? Yeah, like we'll have like a, okay, I'm just gonna call it carry. Let me cook. Carry's gonna have a public void pickup. And station? Wait, actually we'll just say station temporarily. Station. And this will say like s dot item. So then we'll have like a thing on here. Public game object to item, and then also a public transform item position. Then we'll say s.item item in hand equals s.item s.item item equals null. Item in s dot transform dot parent equals item position. S dot transform dot local position. Perfect. Then we say drop item to a station. Does that get handled by the station? Actually, it may. I don't know about that one yet, but this should be enough to at least say like this, and then like something along the lines of if yeah, if it's null, then do that. That does kind of make the most sense. I'm not sure, but we'll just start with this and see how that goes for us, you know. We got an error somewhere. Station doesn't contain a definition for position. That's why I say station. Oh. That's fine. I can fix that real quick. Boom. Carry. This needs a new thing, which I'll just put this to 1 for now. Say carry. And that goes right here. And that has nothing. And this has something. And I think, and this is a crazy thing to say, but I think that's all we need. Didn't work. Did not work. Then froze there. Not great. So not great. And what? Why don't I just say, let's just have a reference to current station as type station, so it's easy to reference. Yeah, that'll make the code a little cleaner. It looks way better. So this needs to say that, and yeah. The sphere. Wow, that changed literally nothing. That surprises me. Let me see if this is the reason that we're not patrolling back again, or if there's something else wrong with the code. Yeah, that's the reason. Okay. Carry.pickup item current station. Item in hand. Item in hand equals s.item. S.item equals null. S.transform.parent equals item position. Transform.local position equals vector 3.0. That looks great. I could even say, you know, if s.item equals null, then return, just as an extra check. That should never even come up because we're not calling it in that case, but it doesn't hurt to try. Let's see if we mess that up somehow. Strange, right? Really strange. Let me see real quick. What's happening to the enemy? Is it showing up here or no? Yes. Yes, it is. This isn't static now, is it? No. Not static. I shouldn't ever even really need collisions for it, truth be told. Just in case that's the problem. Wasn't the problem. What's wrong with this code here? Oh. Oh my gosh. That is really stupid. Good job, Jesse. Wow, that was dumb. Wow, that was dumb. Problem should be solved. Bang! He picks it up. He takes it over. We don't have a drop off yet, but he's smart enough to be like, okay, I don't need to pick up because I already have something. Oh, it feels good. Cool. Very cool. Now, temporarily, I'll go ahead and say, sure, let's have this do everything. And if we need to move it over later, then so be it. Because then we can say, that. And now we should have it essentially be able to go back and forth. And drop it off. Picks it up. Drops it off. I can't see it anymore, unfortunately, because of the position. But he should be able to pick it up again anyway. Oh, he doesn't. Yikes. Okay, well, that's a problem. Where is it right now? I'm assuming it's inside of this block. There's no reference to it. Well, that's problematic. This is at 0.55. This is at 1.3. 1.55 would put it there. I'm honestly not that mad about that. So that way we'll be able to see it. But obviously we have one big problem, which is that we're not saying s.item equals item in hand. Now it'll work. I should make that just maximize every time at this point. Grab. Drop off. Grab. Drop off. Clean, dude. So clean. I love to see this working. I'm sure some of that carry code, like it's not clear to me what should go on carry and what should go on station. So some of that code's architecture is going to need to be rethought, but this is a big step. Seriously, this is a very big step. I love it, man. And it's only been an hour 20. It's only been an hour 20 and we've got all these systems working. We have this guy doing patrols and picking up items. We have player movement, camera working, and death. Player death working. This is going amazing. Like, what? Okay, be right back. I'm gonna go grab something to eat. Take a short break. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Fire, dude. It's awesome. Okay. Everything's still running fine? That's what I want to see. Nice. Nice. Okay. I got me some leftover tacos, iced tea, or not iced tea, but a cold green tea, and mixed nuts to snack on once the tacos are gone. Okay, something I'm worried about this game is the potential of just like an extreme number of immersion interactions. And so I wanted to leave this running and just make sure that the foundation we have is not gonna like cause strange things to happen over time. I think really though those situations are gonna come up as we start to increase the dimensions of our game design, right? Because right now it's very linear, but given just a couple more things, right? Given a station that can turn something into something else regardless of what thing that is, and given the player's ability to pick up and drop things at different times than the baker, things are going to start to get interesting. So we'll just have to see how it goes. You know what I mean? Not gonna lie, I'm not super looking forward to the next part. I'm stalling a little bit here eating because it's gonna be complicated. I'm gonna have to rewrite some stuff 2 or 3 times probably. I could try to think it through really carefully right now, but there's only so much that I can think through, I think, at the moment. One thing that would be really interesting to try to do is add the carry script to the player, because the goal is to make that thing generic enough to do so. If I do that, we just add something to the player move script to call it on a keybind. Trouble is how do you know if you can pick it up? Because right now the logic for whether or not you can pick something up is very awkwardly on the Baker AI, which is not where it belongs. It's not where it belongs at all. This is so good. Ultimately, that needs to be either on the item itself or on the stations, probably. Now, which it is kind of dependent on where these items come from. Because in theory, right now I just have him shuffling it back and forth, but in theory, ultimately, we're going to have a conveyor belt of sorts, a production pipeline, if you will, that's infinite, which means that somewhere along the way, food gets generated infinitely. I have not yet decided how that happens. But there needs to be a different type of station that is like a supply station, and it essentially spawns in something infinitely. Basically, instead of picking it up and it going away, it copies it. Which actually, now that I think about it, I don't need a new script for that. I don't need a new script for that. Hold on. Talking this out loud is really helpful. Because hold on. I know what to do now. This should not be on here. I really shouldn't, but all I need here is like a, you know, public bool supply station. Let's even do an enum station type, and it's gonna be like supply, modify, deliver. And what happens when you do something? Hold up. No. Oh, wait, okay, it's coming to me. It's coming to me. Of course, that is needed. And then, like, we'll have basic generic things. Yeah. that handles that very nicely. Yo, Flaya, what's the game idea? Okay, wait, let me pull up the comment for you. The video idea is from a short that I published the other day. Secretly, I intentionally made it like as not entertaining as possible to watch so that I wouldn't get a lot of responses, and I only got one, which is perfect. Roy says, what about a game where you have to cook meals but you get more points for making it less edible or more dangerous to eat? And so what I'm doing, so I'm taking that idea and running with it, and I'm creating a stealth game where you sneak into an enemy camp and you have to try to essentially sabotage their supply line by sneaking into the kitchen and like interacting with the food as the bakers are moving back and forth and assembling it. We're working on gameplay right now. I'm less than 2 hours in, and I've already got actually a good amount done. I'm pretty happy with how this is going so far. I've already got the player movement working fine. Obviously there's no art yet, and that's not going to change until all the systems are in place, but movement's working fine for the player. Camera's following it nicely. There's a spotlight that you have to dodge. If I run into the spotlight, I die and restart. And there's a baker with very basic AI that allows him to go over to stations and pick up food and drop it off on other stations. And so, yeah, that's I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to expand on the code base so that it can do a little more than just patrol back and forth and pick it up and drop something off. And it's going to be a little bit of a tricky section. I think this is going to be one of the harder parts of the coding for this game. Once I get it figured out, we're going to find out what the player is going to do to sabotage. Reminds you of Overcooked with the camera? Good, because I took inspiration from that for sure. I literally pulled up the gameplay and was like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel here. I think that works just fine. Okay, let's keep going. So, I'm handling the collision from here. Did that compile or no? Not yet. No overload, takes one item. Okay, that makes sense. If carry.item in hand equals null, and current station dot, what I really want to say is, well, maybe I'll start with just this. Maybe we'll start with just that, and we'll make it smarter in time. We're gonna check the type of station in a second, but for right now, that should be sufficient. Assuming that makes no change to the gameplay. Oh wow. Can't assume that, can we? 23 if s.item. Oh. Uh-oh. So, obviously, we need those checks to be there, but I'm surprised that it came about at all, to be honest. Let's see. Let's just see. Very strange. Why is this not calling? Oh! Jesse, you dumbass. It's because you never put a... You never actually... Hold on. Wait, well, this wouldn't be on here. This would be on these. Which I think should work fine. Just add a sphere collider. That's actually probably the default size. It's probably perfect. Now it should be able to actually see it and intelligently know that something's there, and then there's, instead of just assuming it's there. Nope. Well, that's exciting. Am I getting any triggers at all? No, none. Okay. It's a good hint. It's a very good hint. It's because I don't have a rigid body. I think I just have to check all the constraints, but still have one for the sake of... Good. Tag station is not defined. That is something that I know how to solve. No more debugs. Station. Station. Okay, now, is game development your job? It will be. It will be very soon. Right now, I do indie game dev sort of on the side, and I work a software engineering job at the same time. Okay, perfect. That worked. That worked very nicely. My big goal is to go full-time indie, and I think I have a pretty good shot at it this year. What am I doing next? Well. Now that we have that, I want to test if we can make the player pickup items. So I'm going to just start by adding a similar sphere collider and carry script. This is going to have nothing except for a empty transform so that we can keep track of where to place things once we pick them up. Item position, that's perfect. Right now I'm expecting to get no errors, but no gameplay. Is that accurate? It seems to be the case. So now what I should be able to do is go in here and just say something along the lines of like if input.getKey, and we'll say keycode dot maybe E. Then we're just gonna say, and we need a reference. Carry, grab that. Yeah, if carry.item in hand is null, let's see how that goes. I think it's smart enough that like if I spam it when there's no appropriate reason to, it just doesn't do anything. But now in theory, barely dodged that. Oh my. Oh! Yes! I can pick things up too. Oh, that's so clean. We're able to reuse that code completely. It feels like kind of inconsistent, I will say. I think that's because we're using onTrigger enter instead of onTrigger stay. Okay, perfect. And he like picks that up. So let's change that real quick. See if that feels better. I love C#. I don't use it for work. I just use it for game dev, but this is like my favorite environment by far, I would say. I wonder if I just need to make the collider bigger. Because like I'm spamming E, and then it's like the third time I click it, it works. Which is not optimal. Let's see here. We'll make this 1.3. How about that? I'm gonna rush him. Oh, he's gonna get there first. Oh, you switched from... Yeah, if you're going from JavaScript, dude, it's gotta be night and day, man. Oh, dude. I unfortunately do at times have to use JavaScript for work, which is not the end of the world. I think the worst environment I've had in my day job is at one point they made me write a front end in C++. I wish I was joking. It was a nightmare. And I was really excited to work on front end too, because I was like, finally, like I can do something visual. Oh man, what a mess that was. It's just funny. Oh yeah, we're dealing with the weird rigid body issues again. There's not enough damping, huh? Look, can I just like, what? Why did it let me do that? That's hilarious. That's a funny bug. Okay, I'm really surprised that it wasn't on trigger stay. It's still inconsistent, like extremely. And oh! Doesn't C++ make the whole process more inefficient? Dude, brother, don't get me started, man. It's not a language written for front end at all. It was such a terrible framework to use. Yes, it made everything take 3 times longer than it should have, at least. New theory. I always forget which one it is. Is get key down one frame or every frame? Returns true the frame the user starts pressing down. Wait, that's perfect then. I did it right. What? I'll do a print here just to make sure. But yeah, that should work. Hold up. Hold on. Wait, because I'm getting inconsistent. Oh. What? Oh. Move this to update. I bet you. Wait, leave this in here. And move this to update. Yeah. In fact, I should probably also move these to update and say like vector 2. No, we can do vector 3 movement, but this all just happens here instead and like saves it for later, and then it gets applied in fixed update. I need to do programming for school, like making a game, and I saw your videos when searching for inspiration. Dude, that's awesome. You found me at random? That's so cool. Are you using Unity? When's it due? Let's see here. Beautiful. That was the exact issue right there. That solved everything. Okay, so yeah, I think the carry script's in a good spot now because it's... Oh, it feels so good to work as intended. We still have this bug here, which is pretty funny. I'll deal with that later. Okay. Love to see that. Get rid of this debug now. And what's the next step? More station code. Realistically, more station code is the next step. So right now, yes, I'm just making a game using GameMaker, but I found Unity has a bigger community. It definitely does. Either one will work fine. GameMaker is probably going to be a lot more straightforward, but much smaller community, less resources, of course. And yeah, the asset store for Unity is incredible. I'm fully in the camp of Unity, but at the end of the day, like, use whatever you want. Honestly, like, just pick anything. Every major game engine is pretty solid these days. Just pick one and stick with it. They'll have ups and downs, or like upsides and downsides, but they're all good. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, let's see, right now Carrie is responsible for checking if we currently are next to something, ignoring any inputs to this if we aren't. Assuming we are, it's swapping it with the station, which is probably not the best thing to do. I think I'd rather, cause the only reason it's bad is because what we do depends on which of these we are. Like this works fine for modify ones, but for a supply station, we actually just want to copy it. We don't want to move it at all. And for a station that is a deliver, we want to delete it when we drop it. We don't want to drop it on here. So in any case, like in this situation, we're always going to say item in hand, and we're going to set it to something, but I'm going to instead say instantiate s.item. And in fact, we could do it in one line if we do it like this, because I can say s.item, item in hand. Wait. No. What am I doing? Item position, dot position, item position, dot rotation. Actually, I don't think we're ever going to use rotation, so I'll just always leave that at 0. And then like with that in place, I shouldn't need to do any of this ever. I should just be able to say like s.pickup. And then down here, all I'm going to say is destroy item in hand and then s.drop item. And then all of these decisions are going to be in the station. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. And we can reference the enum here. So pickup item, if station type equals supply, then nothing. No change, actually. So really the only change would be if we're picking something up on a modify, then we'll say destroy item. On drop item, drop item needs a reference. For sure, it needs a reference. Right. So we'll go in here and we'll say game object item ref to separate the two. Then we'll call it station type equals, if station type is not equal to deliver, right? So if it's a modify or a supply station, and no, we don't want to do anything with the supply station. There's no reason to. So we only care about this if it's a... Wait, would it be just if it's a modify again? Yeah. That's crazy. Interesting. I didn't think about that. Item equals instantiate it at transformed opposition plus that. That's literally all I have to do. Okay, no argument given that corresponds to item ref or station.drop item game object. Is that true? It sure is, man. It sure is. There we go. Okay, in theory... Oh, I don't actually know what these are defaulted to. They're probably defaulted to supply stations. So I'm going to make this one like a modify station and then this one a deliver station. As an example, okay? And what that should do is it should pick it up and then when it goes over here, it gets destroyed. Woo! We almost got killed. Goes over here, gets destroyed, it's gone because that's the delivery location. Cool. Now, new test. If this one becomes a supply station and that one maintains itself as a deliver, then it's gonna basically just get a copy of it, go over here and destroy. And then it should be able to keep getting copies. And destroying them. That's so clean. Now, the only issue is there's another situation that can come up where, if you think about it, we don't ever want to pick up an item from a delivery station. Though, to be entirely fair, will that one ever happen? No, that's literally impossible. The other situation is trying to drop off at a pickup. Will that ever happen? Well, it depends on if we're doing a check to say... Or item in hand is not equal to null. And then over here, or s.item not equal to null. Yeah, beautiful. That literally solves all the problems without having to go in and check the enum. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Now here's what we can do. Okay, and this is going to get interesting. Modify. Supply. Supply, modify, deliver. Supply has a reference to the sphere. This one won't. Now, we'll duplicate one, put it over here, and we'll say this one is station 2 to station 1. Let's see how it goes. Ah. Why didn't that drop off? Whoa. Okay, several problems at once. First of all, I picked the wrong station. We actually want station, just station and station 2. Nope. Station. Oh yeah, that's probably better actually, now that I think about it. Station and station 2. Second problem, I did not rebake the nav mesh. Third problem, something weird happened that shouldn't have, but it'll be fixed now. Copy that, take it over here. Copy that, take it over here. Assembly line, baby, it's working. Take it over here, take it over here, take it over here. Obviously, these stations can look like what they are. Like we could have a truck and then a cooking spot and then a delivery. But the reality is uh-oh. What happened? What happened? That was weird. That was really strange. We need to code them to be able to wait instead of just going over, checking. We need them to be smart enough to sort of like wait in between the two and not oh, another thing that could happen. I wonder if that's what happened. I looked away for a second. But technically the first guy could pick it up, right? And bring it back, which is kind of an issue. Yeah, we never want them to pick up the second item. Is that fair to say? We never want them to pick up from the second location. We want them to pick up from the first and drop off at the second, always. I can't think of a reason we would ever do it the other way, so we should add that as a constraint. And then we need to make something with the modify to where like combining two things together does something. Whatever that something is. Why is it occasionally failing to grab? I'll increase the range to avoid that problem. That's what happened. Let me just add that before I forget though. We're gonna say if basically what we actually want to do is we want to say if current station equals station 1 pick up, else drop. The rest should be handled by default. Does that break anything? It shouldn't. Hopefully that comparison works. I don't know. It's a little funky. Nope. Nope. If current station is equal to station 1, pickup item, otherwise drop. Why did that fail? Is it due to this comparator not working? Maybe. I think that's possible that we're looking at a reference. So we'll change this back to an integer. If current station equals 0, okay? And then we'll say current station equals, wait, but this worked. But that worked though. No, so it should be fine. We're doing the same exact comparison over there. There's no world where that doesn't work. If current station equals station 1, pick up. Otherwise, drop. What's wrong with that? What exactly is wrong with that? I'm a little unsure why that didn't work. I'm gonna recompile and just test it again and look more carefully. I'm also gonna make this by default bigger because we haven't needed to debug anything in that way in a while. I guess it's possible that I just assigned them the wrong direction, right? Let's try that. Station. Oh, I did. Oh, wow. That's really funny. Okay. So that is awkward that we have to be that careful about it, but I think that's a good constraint to add. I really do. Yeah. That should be good. That should work now. And it does. And that's pretty beautiful. I can steal that. What happens now? See, this is the awkward part. It's like he sees like, oh, I can't drop it, but then he just goes back for more. Now he's like, oh, I can't pick it up. And then he's gonna come back again and be like, oh, I guess I can. So yeah, we need to add like some sort of we need to add some sort of weighting instead of just going right back and forth. But that's all the bug fixes. This is coming along really, really nicely, man. The next big thing, I mean, yes, like I said, we need to add weighting, but I think the really, like, that is going to be dependent on the thing that we really need to do next, which is add the modify stations being able to combine ingredients. Because that's a really big deal. That is an extremely big deal. And the quicker we can get that to work, the better. This is so satisfying, though, to watch. And they're gonna be predictable but easy to interrupt, which is really nice. Because like well, let me just show you. Let's just do it right now. If there was another station over here, hypothetically, with a different kind of sphere that's bad for you, all that I would have to do... Oh, and I placed it in there. That's so nice. All that I would have to do to mess with them, come over here and do that. And now guess what? He's like, oh no, I can't drop it off. It's already taken. He's like, oh, I guess this is what I'm doing. And he brings it right over to the delivery. And now, bang. We have successfully messed with them. But this is in the way of that. Oh. See? Gameplay starting to slow. The game loop is emerging. The game loop is already emerging. Now, ultimately speaking, right? That's a one-off thing, which is cool. But, like, I think to win the game, ultimately, you would find a way to entirely swap out the initial station. Somehow. Somehow, some way, you'd have to do that. And I'm not clear yet on how that would work. I don't yet know. I don't yet know how you would do that. But we'll think of something cool. We'll think of something cool for that. But right now, this is a really good start. So, I think it's probably time to start making it so you can combine. Start making it so you can combine ingredients. So, like, to do that, like, I would imagine ultimately there'd be like a second station over here, and it would have a different ingredient. It would look something like this, okay? This is another supply station. And this would go like in the middle, okay? And we'd have a second guy that goes between these two instead. So that would be station 4 now. Damn. Yeah, station 4 now. And so then, like, theoretically, right, we have it set up such that each of them comes over. Oh, I need to recook the nav mesh again. And adds them both into the middle. And then it turns it into something else. Right now, they're just in a race, which is not that interesting. Not only are they in a race, but they just got stuck on each other. So that's pretty cool. Right? So the station in the middle, the modify station, should be able to take 2 ingredients and turn them into a third. Now the question is, how's that gonna look? I kind of think it would just be both things go on the plate is the simplest solution. It just turns into 2 things. You know what I mean? Is it possible for this to go wrong and him to somehow bring 2 of the same thing? Quite possibly, yeah. Which is pretty cool. There's so many possibilities here. Let's just go try. Let's just start working on it and see what happens, okay? Because the first thing is right now I have a thing that says, okay, if s.item is not equal to null. However, now there's a potential for a station to have 2 different items. Which causes so many interesting problems. Actually, so many problems. If you think about it. Because Because, like, now which one do we pick up? Well, ideally, you don't pick up until the combination has occurred. But then how do we store that? There's so many interesting caveats all of a sudden, right? You see that? So many. So we'll have to just take this on one at a time. Like I could think about it all day. We gotta send it, right? I think we gotta send it. So item 1 and item 2. Now we're gonna really want a way to say public bool empty slot available. Return item equals null or item 2 equals null. Right? Public bool full. And that one would be neither of them are null. Is slot available? Full. Those are good starts, because now I'm gonna say if s dot is slot, not s dot is slot available, right? And up here we can pick up, and we need another thing for this. Which is going to be, oh no, wait, I could actually just say, hold on. Instead of, we could just say not s dot full. And then I could do something really cool. Because I could essentially say, return. This is different depending on what station type it is. The only reason we need to check both is if it's... So it would really just be item 1 is not equal to null and either station type is not equal to station type dot modify or item 2 is not equal to null. That was a lot of Boolean logic and I probably messed something up. But that should do that. Now, we can do something weird. Now we're gonna do something weird and say when we drop something off, it actually goes into one of 2 slots. Drop item. For one of them. One of them will look like that. If item not equal to null or equals null, else almost nailed it. I just want this to be positive. Now, That's enough code in theory. To allow two different things to go there at the same time. Oh, it's beautiful. They did both go. I probably need to add a nav mesh obstacle to each agent. Though I'm a little nervous that that'll just make it think it's not on the nav mesh, but let's see. Never mind. Never mind that idea. That was a bad idea. Why are we still doing it? Oh. Wait, okay, hold on. Are there only 3? Yeah, there's only 3. Theoretically, what if I just do that? Nope. You win. But the code worked. I don't know what to do about the nav mesh issue just yet, but it drops both off. It dropped both off. You saw that? And from here, I can do some really interesting things. Like, I could potentially hold this guy off long enough for him to put 2 red on by mistake, thereby ruining the recipe. However, there's no recipe actually cooked yet. He just takes the first slot no matter what, which obviously is not good enough in and of itself. But it's a great step in the right direction. Item is not equal to null. And station type is not equal to modify, or item 2 is not equal to null. This is going to be different. This is going to be look a little different, because we're going to add a third one. Public game object combine? Is that fair to say? Or would it be better to just throw it on one? Well, when I do this, we copy it from the first item, right? Yeah, we copy the item here. We do. So it's probably better to do that. And to just say like something along the lines of like bool item is cooked equals false, right? And then we say something along the lines of like in update if it's modify no, No, we don't need an update. We don't need an update. But we would do something like this, right? Item 2 equals this, and then we say item is cooked equals true. Game object cooked item equals instantiate item 2 yeah, why don't I just instantiate like a generic cooked item prefab for now? I think that's fair. It's not gonna work like that ultimately, obviously. But we can change that very easily in the future once we come up with a way to handle that. Now what we're gonna say is something along the lines of like destroy item 2, and then item equals cooked item. Okay? I know that's crazy. And now what we're gonna say is full really comes down to something much more specific. If it's a modify station, then all we have to do is say return item is cooked. Otherwise, we're going to say return item is not equal to null. Done. Simple as that. I got an error, don't I? I've got an error, don't I? Let's see. 0 errors. That's so lit. Now we're gonna do something interesting. Recipe. Is this temporary? It is. It's temporary. 0.5. Bam. Let's move the player closer. I want to be able to like instantly witness this. The goings on. So we each grab one simultaneously. Now we try to get there. He tries to get there. He sees that it's not ready yet. I'm gonna push him out of the way. It combines the two instantaneously. He picks it up and delivers it. The next thing I'm gonna do actually before I bother with making it a dynamic recipe is I'm gonna give it a cook time. Because the instant thing is not very cool to me. I don't think it's very cool. So I'm gonna add something. We need to start making some prefabs actually, kind of badly. So let's do that. Prefab. This one's temporary, so be it. I'm gonna want one for station and player. Okay, player needs one. Enemy needs one badly, and station needs one badly. Okay. I'll deal with the broken ones later, but at least we have those set up. The reason why I wanted a station prefab is so I can do this. UI, canvas, world space. Cool. It's probably okay. UI slider goes right here. Make that an even 100. And let's see how that looks in game. Looks like it could be a little higher. Dare I say it? That's probably just about perfect. Now the slider is gonna need to do what we always do. Get rid of the handle. Move everything over to full size. Move it to like a nice red. That did not work. Move this one to a nice anything really. We get orange. Let's test that. Seems reasonable. Because I'd like for that to be the cook time. So we're gonna get a reference to that. We're gonna say don't yet destroy everything. All of this shit needs to be sort of delayed. Instead, we're just gonna say invoke repeating, or we'll just say cooking equals true. Right. Progress bar plus equals time dot tilde time. If it's greater than or equal to 1, then we do all this. And we also say item is cooked equals true, but also cooking equals false. And that's it, right? Am I missing anything? Oh, good call. I don't need to set it. Yeah, I will. Actually, I will do that. That feels pretty much flawless. Let's see if it is. If this works on the first try, I'm gonna be incredibly impressed. Oh my gosh! Oh no. That shouldn't have picked up. That should not have picked that up. No, absolutely not. It's the only bug, though. That's awesome. Carry that pickup item. There's quite a few weird edge cases, huh? There's quite a few weird edge cases. Because my original thought, right, was like, we'll just use full, but we're not using full for picking up. Or for, yeah. No, we are. Wait a minute. If S is not full, then we return. We don't pick anything up. Hold on. This is simple enough. Why did that happen? Why did S return true? If station type oh. Bam. That's all it takes, right? That's all I was missing. I thought it was so much more complicated than that. It's just a missing flag. All of the tricky things are done. What? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Oh no. Oh no. Of course, I can't pick that up, which is probably not the best thing in the world. Oh, because that one's a modify though. So that sort of makes sense. Oh, and that's also why the error came up, right? Supply. In fact, I'll just delete this one entirely. Because what's the point? That's interesting. None of these spheres should have a collider on them. And they don't. And they don't. Okay, we're good. That was the only one. You guys are so painfully dumb. Looks pretty good to me. The thing is that I want to do next is like, if I failed there, but if in theory I managed to like stop one of these from getting there ever. Okay. If I bully this guy to death and green gets double, then I want to be able to see a different recipe come out. Okay? Which means we need dynamic ones. Which is interesting. Which is definitely interesting. Because right now it's the same recipe no matter what lands there. which literally makes it impossible for me to do anything fishy. The other thing I want to be able to do is, even though I don't want the AIs to ever do this, I would like to be able to pick up right there. Probably not there. Oh, that's funky. That's really funky. I can actually... Ha! That's a bit of a problem too, isn't it? Well, it might not be. Truthfully, it may not be a problem. I don't know. I don't really know if that's the move or not, but yeah, I'd like to be able to pick this up right now. I think once it starts cooking, it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But yeah, dropping it in one slot, I should be able to pick that up, I think. I should be able to pick that up so that I can manipulate it. But that's like a really small thing. The bigger thing by far, I think, is now it's probably time to make the recipe dependent on the ingredients. So we're going to hop back to my station and obliterate this prefab here. And this is the only reference to it. Awesome. Cooked item equals instantiate. I think for starters, I'll just make it do both. No? I'll just make it like a plate with both on it. And make it bigger or something so that you can tell. I feel like that's probably a good start. Instantiate. Yeah, all I need to do is like parent one to the other, right? All I actually have to do is parent one to the other. Say something along the lines of item 2 dot parent equals item dot transform, or it would be item 2 dot transform dot parent, and then we'll just say something along the lines of item 1 dot transform dot local scale, and we'll just make it like 1.2. Oh, that's just item. See if that works. Most likely that's all it takes. We got an error immediately. That's not very good. Push you out of the way. Okay, that's a lot more than 1.2. What's the error? Station line 22. Ah. That's just because of these. I'll just temporarily say if yeah. That's the only error, right? Let's see. I think that's the only error. Yeah. Okay, no more errors, but definitely a bit of an issue with the way the end result looks. Why is that so much bigger? That's absurd. We'll just say that. Will that work better? Yes, it looks too subtle now, but it works. We need to do something else to, like, I don't know. Yeah, we'll just do that and then we'll say item one. Oh. I don't think it is actually parented to me. So I really need to do something along the lines of, like, saying position equals transform dot position plus that. Do a quick recompile. Push you out of the way. That turns into one bigger thing. Theoretically, if I could bully one of them out of the way for long enough, I can get a different recipe now. So I'm going to attempt to do so. No green. No green ever. Oh. No green, no green, no green. No. That was funny. Ah! I'll say it's almost easier to keep him from on the way back than on the way there. Oh my gosh. Dude, they're too good. I can't get it to work. Dude. Wait, what? What just happened? Oh, wait, I caught him stuck fully. Finally, we can see it happen. Double green creates a different recipe, which he takes over. Awesome. Now let's make it look a little less stupid. Item 2 dot local position equals all zeros. Well, maybe we'll go like 0.1. And then item 2 dot local scale. We'll make it a little smaller. And then I'm going to say item 2 equals null. Right? Another quick recompile. See how that looks. It's a little too small. Why did it make it that little? What? Something like that. Not actually convinced, of course, that... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Of course, that also means it looks different depending on the order It can be big green, little red, or little green, big red. No, why? No. No, no, no. Oh, it broke everything. Dude, the system's such a pain. I knew it was going to be a pain, but like, wow. Frustrating. Just entirely broke it. Oh, man. What happened? We may be nearing the point where I need to just like stop for a while, do something else, come back to this. Station 35. Item is cooked equals true. Cooking equals false. Do these need to happen after this? Is it possible that somehow, some way it was like frame perfect? I really doubt it. Really, really doubt that that makes any difference at all. We say that we're picking up an item if it's full, which means if the item is cooked. Truthfully, I don't see how else that would have happened. I don't see it. This is a very interesting project to work on, man. I'm having fun with it. How? How did you still get stuck? Put this over here. Didn't quite make it in time. It's fine though. Then that cooks. No, that's not cool. Oh, that's what went wrong. Full. Okay, is slot available? Okay, so like... Item equals null or... Item 2 equals null and... Not... Item is cooked. There we go. I don't know if the parentheses are necessary, but that's the order I want the operations. Actually, not entirely sure. See it. Almost died. Place. Place. Cooking. Not done yet. Go over. Can't place. Thank you very much. Now you can. That one got placed first this time, which means it's going to look slightly different, which is interesting. I don't know if I like that or not. I kind of think the order shouldn't matter. It's just the ingredients should. And this stupid. I guess I just need to make it big enough. The simple solution to that is just to do this. So that way we never run into problems. Right? Mission accomplished. Now I have an idea. And it's a little weird. But my theory is to say something like, we'll base it off of the name. That way the order would never matter. So here's what I'm going to say, okay? If item.name is greater than item2.name, then we're going to say swap them. You can't compare them with greater than? AI, save me. What do you do with that in C#? I don't remember. It's a simple question. Don't take too long. String.compare. Okay, simple as that. Let's do it. Theoretically, and I'll pay very close attention to what comes first. So red, then green, in this case. Green, then red in this case, and it looks the same. Oh, it's beautiful. My code is perfect. My code is perfect. It is beautiful. I just died. Dead instantly. So we have an assembly line now that is working pretty well. Now watch this. Because yes, this is going to give you the same exact recipe every single time. But if I were to sabotage things a little bit, I could potentially make the wrong recipe. He takes it to the counter and delivers it, not knowing any better. That is so beautiful, man. That makes me so happy to see that. Makes me so happy. I think that's pretty much the base system done. Oh no, I made the wrong thing. I love this. I love it so much. Obviously, I want these guys to be smart enough to wait when they're in between stages, and I want the player to be able to pick up the first item, but I don't want the AIs to ever do that. Overall, though, things are looking real good, man. Things are looking real good. May as well, just to make it more exciting, place a second spotlight in the kitchen. Oh. Probably not that close together. So yeah, I'd like to be able to pick that up. Okay, that's a big problem. Second spotlight, move over. Enough that I actually have room to breathe, please. Thank you very much. Woo, that looks good. Bully. Ruin the recipe right there. It's good, man. It looks good. I'm imagining eventually building like a short game loop where like somehow like at the beginning you start by just like messing with individual recipes. But like ultimately there's like truck drivers that come through and determine what over here is the supply. And as you mess with them, as you start to ruin their recipes, the truck drivers come and eat bad food and make different decisions that eventually leads to a permanent mistake over here. Right? And there could even be like a couple iterations of something like that where somehow you mess with the truck drivers and one of them is wrong, does the wrong thing, and that makes him make a slightly different mistake in the ingredients, which then goes back around again and makes it worse and worse until something like insane happens. You know what I mean? There's a lot of interesting possibilities here, I think. I really do believe. But to start, you just do something like this. You go through and you'd place it at the wrong time, thereby creating the wrong recipe, which he takes over to the counter. And then something happens. Great start. That only took 3 hours. That was a lot of pretty complicated systems for 3 hours, in my opinion. So what I'm going to do now is two things. I'm going to set up a Trello. Why is there like nothing here? Okay, that was weird. Anyway, I'm going to make a Trello called Anti-Cook. And we're going to have the normal to do, in progress, testing done. This one's going to have a cool label. No, not a label. How does this work? Cover? Yeah, there we go. I don't like it in all caps for some reason. Okay. This one should actually be not green. The last one should be green. Not sure why I did that. This one will be like red. This one will be, oh, I don't know, blue, yellow. This one will be yellow. This one will be blue. This one will be green. Now, we've already done it. We've checked off a stupid amount of tickets, obviously. I'm not gonna like retroactively set all those up again, but I will write down. Player should have a carry exception. Can pick up an item on a modify supply before it's done cooking. That's one thing. Thing two is enemies should wait for their action instead of moving back and forth pointlessly. And then it's like make the recipe matter somehow, like actually feed to customers. Truck driver for supplies. Eventually you could ruin it all. And then like, you know, bring in 3D models, pick art direction and theme. And that's probably all I'll write for now. Oh, and like add feedbacks to make it more satisfying. Add music, sound effects, and then like, I don't know. Okay, that's set up. Whenever we come back, I'll say that like that one's the next thing in progress. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back this up. So I'm going to make a new repository. Call it anti-cook again from existing folder. Users. Diversion. Anti-cook. Great. And it's syncing everything. So that way, when we come back to this, we'll be able to pick up where we left off, make big changes and revert if necessary. What a fantastic start, man. What a fantastic start, straight up. Check everything off. Syncing 5,500 files. That's wild. Do, 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 do. Oh my gosh. That's insane. That is so much bigger than I thought it would be. And that's not even including the library. Dude, it's not like it's a very complicated game yet. I mean, we made a lot of progress, but damn, dude. It's tripping out on me. It's indexing. Okay. We've got a good spot to come back to. I think I'll take a break in a second here. Go for a walk. Touch grass. Because that was a pretty long session. I usually like to work in 2-hour sessions, and that was over 3. Granted, I guess I kind of like took a half break in the between to eat, but not really. I guess I can just leave this and push it when I come back, but before I make changes. Okay. I think I'm gonna end it there for now. I may come back to this today, I may not, depending on time. But that was a great start to this challenge. And genuinely, like, I mean, obviously you could take this as long and as far as you want to, but I feel like we're a good chunk of the way in at this point. So I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you feel relaxed. And I'll see you when I do. That's it for now.